Good morning, and once again, welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Calls and Walks, the podcast. Saying the podcast after the name of the podcast just makes it sound a bit more fancy, so bear with me. But what a blast to be publishing this right now. Currently it's Friday, it's Thursday. It's 4:33 p.m. and oh my god, I cannot believe that I'm filming this episode. Recording, not actually filming anything, but cannot actually believe that I'm doing it and I'm going through it with it, but what a blast. Anyways, I hope you're gonna have a jolly good time listening to this, and I hope I'm not gonna talk too quickly, because you're gonna find all that out in the episode. But yeah, you heard the intro already, so let's go straight to the episode, which is kind of boring, but I'm gonna make it a bit more fun, hopefully. I'm gonna talk about what this podcast means to me and why did I start it, actually, because I don't think I've mentioned that before. If you follow me on my social media, you also don't know anything, because I haven't talked about this yet. If you're my boyfriend, you know everything. Hello to you too. But yeah, I'm gonna introduce this podcast a bit, and I'm gonna introduce myself, because I want you all to know who I am and what to expect from this little project. And as a little subtopic, I'm gonna talk about starting projects in general, and why didn't I actually start this earlier, because you're gonna find out in the episode that it's been my forever dream to have a podcast or a YouTube channel. And actually I had a YouTube channel about 4-5 years ago. Oh, sweet little 12-year-old Caroline would have a blast right now. She's having a blast. Yeah, I think she's very proud. I am very proud of myself. And I wanted to start a podcast since forever. Since forever I wanted to talk to people, and it didn't necessarily have to be something really, really impossible to grasp, or something really hard to talk about, or something. Yes, I'm talking too much because I'm trying to catch a word that is hanging somewhere in the air, but I just can't find it. Anyways, maybe I'm gonna remember it. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a topic that is... No, I still can't find a word. That's okay. So the point is that I'm not trying to make a podcast that is full of incredibly hard topics to grasp and to listen and to talk about. But I'm trying to make something my boyfriend called a friendly chat. And I really like that. It's more of a friendly chat. That's why it's called Calls and Walks. Because it's not a sit-down kind of podcast, really. It's just me blabbering my thoughts out. And the inspiration for this podcast actually came from my voice messages to, my boyfriend, and from me listening to a certain podcast that I'm gonna mention in another episode. But the whole inspiration for this just came through me having so much to talk about and feeling a bit sorry for the thoughts that had to be swallowed down. And I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna publish it, and I'm just gonna talk, and even if nobody actually listens to this, at least it's, not getting swallowed. And honestly, that's a blast. And the inspiration came from me recording voice messages to my boyfriend, and I record voice messages on my morning walks. I walk to school every morning, or well, not every morning, because if it's raining, I did that mistake once. I walked to school and it was pouring rain, like absolutely pouring rain. It was not a blast, actually it was. I was soaked when I got to school, because my school, my morning walk to school is about 40 minutes, and it was like pouring rain, but I was just like, I like rain, so I might as well just walk. It was kind of a blast, but I did catch a cold, and I did get to school absolutely soaked, but yeah, it was fun. Anyways, not making that mistake ever again, because not interested in catching a cold. But yeah, that's where the inspiration for this podcast came from. Well, original inspiration, I don't even know where it happened, or I don't even know how the original inspiration just came. I just always know that I always wanted to talk to people and talk with people, and yeah, I decided to make a YouTube channel when I was 12, and then it didn't work out. I don't know, I deleted it for some reason. But I recorded about 3 videos and I actually published them. And I made a YouTube channel about half a year ago, but that was in August. And somehow I got so busy, and because yes, I'm in high school. I'm a high school medical student, and yeah, just the school got super busy, and recording YouTube videos suddenly didn't really seem sustainable or doable at all. And so I kind of laid off it, and I just can't seem to shake it. The thought of starting a podcast, of talking to people, and just sharing whatever happens in my mind to the world. And yeah, so that's why I started this podcast. It's just a silly little dream. It's not really a dream, it's just like the little thought that my boyfriend just texted. It's just a little thought that you have in your head, and you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it, and you just can't seem to shake it. And if you're listening to this and you have the thought, go for it. Please go for it. Because just try it. I know it may seem super pointless too. It sounded pointless to me too, actually. Like, oh, why a podcast? Why should I do a podcast? Nobody's gonna listen to it, and it's just gonna be nonsense. But just do it. And I'm a proof, actually. Hi. Because right now I'm sitting by my desk in my room, and I'm recording this episode, and I'm smiling a lot, and I've been dancing around my room the whole week, actually, because I've been telling everyone, like, oh my god, can you believe I have a podcast? Like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually going through with it, but I am, and you should too. Just go for it, go paint that whatever you want. Well, you probably want to paint a painting, but anyways, go film the video, go record the episode podcast, go, I don't know, write the book, do anything that you just can't seem to shake, because even if it might not work out, at least you're gonna be like, okay, I tried this and it just didn't work out. I'm a firm believer that you can't miss what it's meant for you. You can't miss what is meant for you. You can't miss what you're meant to find and meant to have. And you can't miss out on people that you're meant to have and meant to know. But I do believe that you can postpone something for so long that once you start it and once you have it and once you make the first move, you can sit down and be like, oh God, I wish I did that earlier. I wish it didn't take me 4 years to ask the person out. I wish it didn't take me XYZ years to press upload on that video, because it's a blast and I like it, and I wish I could have spent all my days doing this instead of wishing I did it. And hey, even if it doesn't work out, at least you're gonna sit down and be like, okay, I did this and it didn't work out and it was not meant to be. But hey, I did it. Okay, I did it, and it might have been a blast for a while. Or not, and at least I know now. And I know it all may sound like a bunch of crap, believe me. But hey, you could just try it, honestly. And that accounts for sports too. I recently started running because, oh God, you have no idea how much I wanted to run. But my ankles are a bit... they're doing a marvelous job lately, but I have hypermobile ankles, so I am used to spraining them a lot, and I wasn't really sure if it was safe to start running, and I didn't want to deal with the failure that, I might sprain my ankle, or, I might break it, or, it might anything. But then again, do you want to spend your whole bloody life thinking about what might happen? I'm not talking about, I might think this is dangerous, this might be dangerous, so I might not do it. Yeah, obviously have some, rationality, but if it's pointless things like, people might talk, they always talk, everyone's gonna always talk. And believe me, I'm a teenager in this era, and I see it in my class. Scary thing. People from my class starting to follow my Instagram account for the podcast, and yeah, but they always talk anyway. So they're always gonna talk. People are always gonna talk about things. They're gonna talk about you, even if you don't want to, and even if you're quiet. Even if you're quiet, they're gonna talk about the fact that you're quiet. They're gonna talk about the fact that you're loud when you're loud. They're gonna talk about the fact that you don't say the answer if you don't say the answer. Then they're gonna talk about the fact that you say the answer when you say the answer. They're always gonna talk, and it's you can't win. You can't outrun them all. You can't win the battle against them all. Because they're always gonna find something to bash about. They're always gonna throw rocks at things that shine. And they're actually gonna throw rocks at things that don't shine either. So you might as well shine. Yeah, so starting can be incredibly hard, and I know it myself. I wanted to start this podcast 6 months ago. And yet, look at me 6 months later, and I'm recording the first ever episode. And I'm gonna talk about starting a bit more later in another episode. I'm gonna have a special episode dedicated to starting projects and how to start it, and why start and all those things. So just check in for that episode. And yeah, so there are people always gonna talk, and I decided that, if they're gonna throw rocks anyway, I might as well shine. And it's scary. It's absolutely terrifying, actually. The thought that someone who I spend all days in a week is gonna listen to something and maybe not like it, and maybe make fun of me for it, or not, or talk about it with their friends, or, anything. And it is absolutely terrifying. But, I actually decided not to care a bit. I don't know how I did it, but I'm gonna have an episode on that. I don't know how I did it, but I'm gonna have an episode on that. Because I don't know. The fear of rejection has been my nemesis kind of lately. And I started to think a bit more about how I want to spend my life and how I want to do things and why I want to do things. And you notice the fear a bit every time you start something, every time you even think about something. Like, you get a job and you go and get a job, and there's always this little voice in your head that's telling you that, you might get rejected, you might not get the job, and people might talk, and the possibility is there. But do you really want to just sit at your desk every evening and go through things that you didn't do because some things might happen? It's, I don't know, the uncertainty of the might is, it, and one hand is really scary, because it might happen, people might laugh, but they also might not. And there might be people who might laugh, and there also may be people who might not laugh, and I don't know, I just decided to work with the people that might not laugh. And there's two sides of the coin, of the might coin. There's always might and there's always might not. There's never, that's why it's a might. You never know for sure who's gonna laugh, or if anyone's gonna laugh. You never know if anyone at all is gonna laugh. But it's probable that somebody will laugh, because that's just people, and you have different people and different opinions and different likes. But believe me, there is someone who has the same likes as you do, and the same beliefs as you do, and who finds the same things funny. And make the content for them. Make the content for them, make them laugh, and not in the degrading sense, but make them laugh with you, because that's what people really need, actually. They just need someone to laugh with. Even the people who might laugh at you, they always laugh with someone. And yeah, so that's on the starting. Just start, just do it, just screw everyone, because at the end we're all gonna die anyway. So you might as well die with the podcast on your account. Anyways, that's on starting, and that's on me. A quick introduction that I didn't do to myself yet. I'm Caroline, which is not actually my real name, but it's a bit of a real name, actually, because my real name is Carolina, and I just changed the A to E at the end, just to make it a bit melodic. But Luna is from the moon, obviously, because I love the moon, I love universe, I love the space, I love the stars, I love everything about it. And I just thought it's really good for me, and it kind of describes me a lot. I love the moon, and the space is such a gorgeous place, and it's a bit spooky, a bit, but yeah, it's beautiful, actually. So yeah, that's why Caroline Luna. And this podcast is called Calls and Walks, because, well, it's kind of easy. The inspiration came from my voice messages on the walks. the first draft of this episode, I actually did film on a walk, but can y'all believe how many cars are outside at 7 a.m? Why don't people sleep? So there were so many cars and so many noises that you could not hear my voice at all. Which means that I'm gonna finish recording this episode and then I'm gonna shove it to some editor and I'm gonna add some sounds in the back to make it more relaxing. And I'm thinking of birds. Do I add birds? Like singing, because that would be a blast, honestly. But yeah, so that's the only reason why this podcast is not actually filmed on a walk. It's because the bloody world is not asleep at 7 a.m. and it should be asleep, but it's not. So I have to improvise, actually, just to make it live up to the Cars and Walks name. But yeah, I just thought it had a nice ring to it, and I hope it does have a nice ring to it. And we're nearing 22 minutes of this episode, and since I want to talk about starting projects in a different episode, I think I'm gonna hang up right here. And I hope you had a blast. I'm gonna see you soon. See you in another episode. Wait for the outro to play. There's some info about my social media. And until the next call.